prepared yet.
You need to try and pick off the units as... Look at the shields on the mark.
Oh my god, the drone's gonna take him.
Hey guys, we are back with some winners round 3 action for you. This is Pain User.
And this is HD.
And we are so excited to bring you guys a game between Mao's ThorZaIN and Mao's Mana. ThorZaIN going to be spawning as our red Terran at the 3 o'clock position, and down at the 6 o'clock position we have his opponent, Mao's Mana, going to be our green Protoss. 2 outstandingly talented teammates here.
Yeah, you make a great point too. They are indeed teammates, which kind of means that we may see some awesome metagame and leveling that will be involved in this game, because whenever you're involved in a matchup against someone you know really well, in a tournament, you tend to do some stuff that they would not expect.
Oh yeah, it changes everything. And the map is Terminus, so both these players, I'm sure, have played each other so many times. Mana actually coming up through the winner's bracket, defeating Dark Force in round 1 and Phoenix in round 2. ThorZaIN, conversely, coming through the winner's bracket, defeating Axlav in round 1 and Zake in round 2. So both these players have just been laying waste to everyone in their path, and now these two teammates come together for a confrontation in Winners Round 3. This is so intense.
Yeah, not only that, the winner of this series will go on to Winners Round 4 to play against the winner of Idra versus Moonan. And guess what? If you guys are tuning into this live, then you guys already know that Idra won that game against Moonan. So even if one of these players should win, which of course one will, they will have a tough obstacle in the way on the next round.
Oh yeah, Idra, an absolute monster as of late, our Season 1 champion, and he will still be in the running. So let's get into this game. It is going to be on Terminus, and we have pretty standard openings so far out of both players. No gas just yet from ThorZaIN, so it looks like he's going to be going with a gasless fast expand here. He already has his SCV sent out to scout. He is scouting in the wrong direction. There is already a probe in his base, so Mana is going to be 100% hip to what's going on. He might be able to block this command center for a little bit, actually. His probe in position to do so now, and here comes the SCV to drop the CC, and no, not going to be able to get it down.
Not too often you see this situation where the SCV builds the command center down on the low ground. Usually they'll build it inside the main, so we see some probe blocking CC action. But that will be deflected now that the Marine has come out. But they're still giving a little bit of a dance here on section 41.
At this.
Yeah, both the players here. The probe is basically staying away from the Marine right now, and Mana's doing a great job with this scouting probe, just keeping it alive.
Well, yeah, I mean, he doesn't want to lose this probe, and he's just keeping ThorZaIN busy. Both players keeping each other busy, and this is an intense game of cat and mouse here. Neither player giving an inch, and it looks like Mana might actually be able to escape with the probe intact. No, probe does go down, so ThorZaIN doing a great job right there, staying on top of things. And we do have the second Rax now following up for ThorZaIN. Will he drop a third Rax? I think he may. He already has his gas as well, so he's not going for that gasless style where you go up to 4 Raxes, immediately produce a ton of Marines. He's going to be teching much quicker than that, as he already has his gas down off of 2 Raxes.
Yeah, he may just go for a factory right after the second barracks, or he may throw down a third and get those upgrades going. SCV will be deflected in the middle by Mana's Stalker here. As the Stalker will retain map control in the center of the map. And that's key for Protoss right now. They definitely want to control the center of the map, figure out exactly what's going on across all sides of the game. And Mana will be going for a Nexus at his natural expansion. It looks like it was a 1-gate Nexus here, so Mana gonna have that expansion up, but he is also gonna have a lot of gas to follow this as well, and I think he's probably gonna be investing that into a lot of sentries.
Yeah, Mana going with that 1-gate double gas quick Nexus style, so definitely going to be investing in a lot of sentries, or he might build some stalkers early on here. More than likely it's going to be sentries though. Warp gate tech just about now finishing, and he's going to start warping in units to deal with any eventual push from ThorZaIN. ThorZaIN, on the other hand, has dropped a third Rax back at his base. He has Stim on the way. 2 Tech Labs, doesn't yet have a reactor, so it looks to be going with a very Marauder-heavy style. After getting those initial Marines out, he is continuing his SCV production, and both players hitting their macro timings almost perfectly. 40 to 41 supply, 41 to 41 right now, so dead even from these two teammates.
Yeah, both these players right now, obviously really, really good. We saw some awesome Marine versus Probe action earlier, and it's just kind of showcasing the high level of skill that's involved between ThorZaIN and Mana. Back over at Mana's base, he is building up sizable forces of sentries right now. Like we said before, all that gas is going to be invested into a lot of those units, and the key here is getting those sentries out early on so that they accumulate that energy, because a sentry, in essence, will have 4 force fields per sentry when you have them maxed out on energy, and that's a lot of force fields, so you want to get them out nice and early. And we do have Mana here going for the Observer, as both players are falling into what seems to be a very comfortable macro game.
Well, Mana does already have the Robo down. He's getting that initial Observer, and I love the secondary wall coming up here from ThorZaIN, just in case he needs to put that up for a possible DT run by, or if he needs to fall back and use that as a secondary wall. We also have a factory and an engineering bay up for him, so he's going to be getting those early +1 upgrades, and he's actually moving out with quite a few Marines right as Combat Shield and Stim are about to finish. I love this timing from him. Going to be able to maybe pick off a Stalker in the midfield here. No, he's not going to get that one Stalker. Perhaps maybe stimming a few Marines here would allow him to pick off these Stalkers, but I don't think he wants to waste that just yet. He's going to wait until he gets into the natural here. And what does Mana have as a response to this? He only has 5 Stalkers right now and a handful of sentries, and stimming in immediately and going after the Stalkers. Going to be able to pick a few of those off, but those force fields very well placed.
Yeah, the force field's keeping the Marines at bay for now. I think Mana will be able to hold this off quite easily. ThorZaIN will have to fall back now that his Marines have been using the drugs for quite some time. They are in the red and orange. It looks like Mana here microing along with ThorZaIN, and eventually ThorZaIN losing the majority of his forces at the front of that natural. But all that time, ThorZaIN was building up into starports, so we will have some dropships coming out. And as for Mana, he has been going into Colossus tech, and it pretty much seems like, despite the fact that these guys are teammates, they're playing this like a practice game. They're playing a very standard macro game. No crazy shenanigans, and nothing out of the ordinary yet.
Yeah, they're both just playing very intelligently. Mana now getting thermal lances, and the first Colossus is out on the field, and he's also moving out into the midfield here. He has taken control over the bottom Xel'Naga, and he's most likely, he does have control over the top Xel'Naga as well, so he has full map control right now. He is going to be able to dictate the pace of this game from here on out as he has this forward position. He's actually going to pressure towards the bunker right now, forcing ThorZaIN to pull quite a few SCVs off the line, but this isn't really necessary. ThorZaIN, I think, is more than capable of holding this, and ThorZaIN taking his 3rd base right now, so he is going to go up 1 base. His command center is almost done, and the Nexus just about a 1/3 of the way done for Mana, so ThorZaIN going to take an economic lead here.
Yeah, all these players, both of them just going into very macro mode right now as they're approaching 3 bases apiece, and that's to be expected, I guess, on Terminus. You know, it's a big map, lots of expansions, and whenever I play on this map, I always like to go for as many bases as possible. You've got a nice little hidden 3rd right here, but we do have a drop here by ThorZaIN coming in with 2 dropships, so easily deflected, actually instantly deflected by the Colossus and the forces on the ground. So Mana's, he's privy to the fact that, hey, the Terran's right next door, he has dropships, and he's going to always leave a couple forces here just in case. And of course, the power of the pylon allows you to warp in additional reinforcements if the dropship does decide to land down.
Yeah, and that was perfect timing right there from Mana, bringing his units back just in time to deflect that double drop from ThorZaIN, virtually taking no damage. Now he does have double forges, chronoing out those upgrades. Mana adding more gateways into the mix now. Harvester count virtually even, 57 to 54 right now. So this is just a very close match between 2 very talented teammates, and it's coming right down to the wire. An Observer headed in, and it will scout out those double reactored starports, and I love that ThorZaIN has those double reactored starports now. He's going to be able to crank out those Vikings in order to deal with these Colossus, and it seems like Mana is content to continue to add Colossus into the mix.
Well, if you're a Colossus, or if you're a Colossus lover, then obviously you're going to be getting a lot of Colossus. And I think Mana is that kind of player that tends to favor the heavy Colossus gameplay versus Terran rather than the recently popularized Zealot, Charge Lot, Mass Archon style. And, you know, I think this old school style of Protoss versus Terran still is very, very strong. And it's going to come down to one, obviously, big engagement. We haven't seen it quite yet. And it's going to come down to whether or not Mana can land his spells correctly. His Psystorm, which he is now getting Templar Archives for. His Colossus, he will need to micro those against the Vikings and keep them out of harm's way. And as for ThorZaIN, I would like to see him maybe add on a couple more Vikings, depending on the Colossus count. But although Mana is going, you know, in a charge lot now, he's not building any more Colossus.
Yeah, well, keep in mind, the Vikings are flooding in 4 at a time, and we do have ThorZaIN moving into the natural. Right now, it looks like he's going to take a poke. Mana might be a little bit out of position here, and one Colossus gets picked off immediately. That will go down. Storm is not done yet. It is only 50% done. ThorZaIN sending in Ghosts ahead of the pack. He gets off a beautiful EMP right there, taking a ton of Sentry energy and almost all the shields, but he does not want to commit yet. He's biding his time and he's playing it safe. I don't know if that's the right idea yet because Storm is just about 80% done now, and the longer he waits, he's just giving Mana an opportunity to make his army so much stronger.
Yeah, the Protoss player right now, Mana, on 3 bases is going to be able to power out all these upgrades, which he's now going into +2/+2. And of course, he has now finished Storm, so those High Templars will be able to Psionic Storm or feedback the Ghosts and the entire Marine Marauder ball with ease. So ThorZaIN, I guess he has the option of hanging back right now or attacking, and he's chosen the former. He's chosen to hang back and play a very, very safe game. But if you're going to do this, and I would love to see another CC, and indeed, as we say it, Command Center floating out and will be landing at the 4th, and at the same time ThorZaIN applying aggression while expanding behind. Key element to StarCraft 2 success.
Yeah, he is going to go ahead and drop over at that 3rd. He's also moving into the front here, going to pick off a Colossus. EMP's going down on everything but those storms, killing a majority of the Bio Ball. The Vikings will clean up all the Colossus here, and he is going to pull those Vikings out of there. And wow, somehow, some way, ThorZaIN finds a way to come out even, if not ahead on that battle, when it looked like at the beginning he was down and out, and I thought he was just going to lose that immediately.
Yeah, ThorZaIN playing that really well, and one of the key factors about ThorZaIN that have made him such an impressive player to watch is his preparation for everything that he does, his build order, his execution of battle and micro during the most intense and crucial moments of the game. He never really falters and is able to keep all of his forces alive. Notice he kept that Ghost alive with like 2 HP. He launched the EMPs off. He killed off a Viking with his, killed off a Colossus with his Vikings as well, and effectively, I think he is now ahead in this game, despite the fact he is behind a little bit in army supply. He has a 4th base, he has map control, and I think ThorZaIN is cruising for a victory here in Game 1.
Well, I think the most impressive thing about ThorZaIN's preparation is just how he contours every build to his opponent and how clean and crisp all of his build orders really are. I mean, he's really pioneered this upgrade style where he uses heavy ghosts. I mean, look at the ghost count right now. How many ghosts do we have out for him right now? He has 12 ghosts right now in the main army. I mean, he's just one of those players that has pioneered this heavy ghost style, and it works so well against this High Templar Colossus mixture here. But there are so many Zealots out right now for Mana, and he is charging straight into ThorZaIN's army, but backing off, waiting for those storms. I think he might have had the upper hand there, but now ThorZaIN able to get that great concave. But I don't know. Mana's army is looking pretty menacing right now.
Yeah, Mana does indeed have this transition working for him. The transition from originally going Colossus into Mass Charge Lot. I would like to see him add Archons to this mixture. I think that would be a very potent, bulky unit to throw down. Mana coming in with a couple of Stalkers, just poking the front door, sees the massive numbers of ghosts that are on the field. And let me tell you, Pain User, these ghosts, man, they can land EMPs, they can land snipes. There are so many ghosts here, and unbelievably, they actually do some pretty good damage as well.
Yeah, they do good damage as well, especially to Zealots, and he has a ton of ghosts out right now. EMP's going down, that Colossus gets taken out immediately, and wow, ThorZaIN just doing such a great job managing the position outside of Mana's base. He's forcing Mana inside of his base. Mana does have this sneaky fourth Expo out there, but he's not able to get any probes out, and it looks like Mana's going to go in for it here, blinking right on top of everything.
Oh my god, mass EMP is going down over the entire Protoss army, and all these charge lots have been halved in terms of HP because they lose all their shields, but it looks like Mana has enough charge lots to break through the Terran army, but ThorZaIN cloaking all of his ghosts over here, and I'm not sure if Mana has an observer overhead. I don't believe he does, and the ghosts are able to do significant damage as they are cloaked under the guise of that cloak pack, and they're doing some serious damage right now. ThorZaIN falling back into his planetary, and that will be it for that battle.
Yeah.
ThorZaIN, I think, coming out ahead.
Yep, and the Medivacs doing such a great job keeping those ghosts alive. Ghosts, one of those units that actually have a surprising amount of hit points, able to live through that entire battle and just doing so much damage versus those zealots. EMPs going off on everything, and look at this. ThorZaIN now scouting the left-hand side of the map. He will find that fourth expansion of Mana. Keep in mind, ThorZaIN's expansion has been up and running for quite some time here, and wow, look at this aggressive positioning from ThorZaIN, dropping bunkers outside of Mana's main. So intelligent, just putting Mana in this defensive position. He's unable to leave his base, and eventually when he does want to leave, he's going to have to deal with these bunkers and the majority of ThorZaIN's force. Mana, however, built up a huge army now, and he is pushing out with a vengeance.
Yeah, here comes Mana's last-ditch counterattack here with all of his forces. Unfortunately, the EMP taking out a large portion of the shields and the energy, and it looks like Mana last-ditch attack here. Does he have enough to break through this contain? It looks like he will, but of course ThorZaIN can fall back with Cloak. He can fall back into the planetary. There is an observer overhead, ends up detecting the ghosts, and all the ghosts go down.
No.
ThorZaIN here in a bit of trouble, but of course he has the planetary, and that's the key element to Terran success. I mean, if you lose your main army, you fall back to the planetary. It's like falling back to the Alamo, man.
Well, yeah, but you never want to have to do that. That's the point. He has to fall back to his planetary right now, and he lost all of his medevacs there, lost almost all of his ghosts. And I would say the key element to him winning right now, if we're going to be talking about that, is getting an army. He is just struggling to put together a Marine Marauder ball here, and every time he does, it's getting taken out piece by piece. Mana has quite the army right now, especially in terms of supply and just in terms of tech as well. He is way far ahead. Is 166 supply to 88 right now, and man, Mana is just so far ahead. I don't think ThorZaIN's going to be able to weather the storm here. Mana just getting the best of all these engagements.
Yeah, if we look on that army tab as well, we can see Mana is now at 178, supply over 104, and that just kind of occurred from that last battle. After Mana was able to wipe the floor with ThorZaIN's army, he lost a good chunk of it, and it's tough for Terran to rebuild that army supply. It really takes a lot of time. So right now, I would argue it's ThorZaIN's weakest point. He needs to remacro his army, he needs to rebuild, but it's taking time. And unfortunately, how many barracks does he have? He only has 5. You know, it almost seems like his barracks count may be a little bit lower than one would expect. There's a 6th one, and his forces are really coming in willy-nilly, one at a time. He's focusing on a lot of heavy ghosts right now, and I'm not sure if the ghosts are what he needs. I think he needs more heavy tech units like Marauders and Marines.
Beautiful snipe right there from ThorZaIN. One of those High Templar was going to come in to feed back one of the ghosts, and he just immediately snipes it, taking it out. Now sending 2 Marauders to take out another High Templar. Very intelligent moves here from ThorZaIN. He needs to continue to make small incremental moves like this to stay in this game. Mana expanding freely across the left-hand side of the map, though. He is taking a 5th now, and this is getting very, very precarious for ThorZaIN. It already was before, but somehow he managed to equalize the supplies a little bit, 200 to 140 now, and I think that's due to the fact that Mana has been waiting for quite some time, hasn't really made a move, doesn't want to engage at that planetary. But keep in mind, ThorZaIN's army is almost entirely Ghosts and Vikings right now, and we do have a drop going on at the 3rd of Mana. 2 dropships worth of units, gonna be able to take out this Nexus, and this is exactly what ThorZaIN needs right now. Mana also attacking at ThorZaIN's 4th.
Yeah, Mana pulling back his forces right now, trying to defend his 4th Nexus, 3rd Nexus, and it looks like the Nexus will be saved. Will he lose a dropship? Yes, he does. And actually, I would argue that drop wasn't really effective at all, because he focused to kill off the Nexus. He wasn't able to do any damage. The only thing really is he forced Mana to fall back all of his forces, and he lost kind of some of the terrain in the middle of the map.
Well, he also picked off that Colossus.
That's true.
That's a big plus, but still losing a medevac full worth of units is never a good thing. And he didn't manage to pick off that Nexus, and I think he could have picked off that Nexus actually. So it didn't work out for him.
If he had been able to pick it off, he would certainly be been in a great position right now.
Yeah,
at least a little better than he is.
Absolutely, but the problem right now is Mana has full map control. It's going to be very, very difficult for ThorZaIN to take a 5th base here. There's virtually nowhere for him to take a 5th, and he's going to start to get mined out here very soon. He's mined out at his main, his 3rd and his natural. Not looking that good in terms of minerals. He only has a few left. So yeah, it's just going to be so hard for him to take a 5th here, and that's really what he needs. Great snipes going off.
Trying to do a little bit of incremental damage here with this Ghost, and these are the units that you want to do it with. They have energy, they can recharge, you can use snipe, you can pull back, and it doesn't really cost you an arm and a leg, unlike Marauders, Marines stimming and going in there and actually getting into the rough neck of things. But I just want to call attention to how quickly this game turned around. I felt like ThorZaIN was in control for the first half of the game. He had the contain, everything was working out for him, and boom, one big battle, and now Mana's the one in control. Just kind of goes to show that StarCraft 2, things can flip with just the ease of a coin.
Yeah,
and
no,
anything
absolutely.
can happen.
It was Mana being willing and able to commit right there, blinking right on top of ThorZaIN's army. The charge lots coming in, the storms going down. I mean, everything came together for him right there, and he was able to kill his entire army. And EMP's going off on the majority of Mana's forces.
Oh my god, but the Ghosts!
Blinks right on top of the Ghosts and the Zealots coming in now. This is a huge battle.
Yeah, this is a massive battle.
Win.
Will ThorZaIN be able to do it? He actually has enough Vikings to eliminate the Colossus, and it almost looks like ThorZaIN has enough ground forces here to clean up, but Mana with the reinforcements here has a lot of Templar. They all get EMP'd, though, by ThorZaIN, and ThorZaIN is pushing. I cannot believe it. If ThorZaIN breaks Mana's army here, this will be a brilliant comeback by ThorZaIN, and it almost looks like he is about to do it. Mana warping in reinforcements. Does he have enough? The Archons barely fighting for their lives here for the life of the Protoss Natural.
Archon goes down.
ThorZaIN is gonna do it. I can't believe it. He's pushing into the heart of Mana.
We don't know that yet. Mana warping in reinforcements as fast as he possibly can. He's working off a ton of gateways right now. Dual Robo at the Natural. Reinforcements coming in right now. But we do have quite a few Stalkers out for Mana right now. He's managed to replenish that gateway count so quickly. He must be working off. How many gateways is he working off right now? He must have so many. Check over at the 4th as well. The fourth. Yes, so many gateways. Oh my goodness, that is more gateways than I care to count right now. He is reinforcing so quickly, and that's what enabled him to push ThorZaIN back. ThorZaIN won that battle. He was able to get in there, but he wasn't able to push through and start taking out the gateways, and that's really what he needs to make happen right now.
ThorZaIN is, he was able to do a little bit of damage. You're right. He has to fall back now, and he can't continue applying pressure. And I think it just kind of goes to show the Protoss player has, 30 gateways, and the Terran player has, 5 or 7 barracks. So it's just a massive production disadvantage right here, almost like watching the North and the South in the Civil War, where ThorZaIN's unfortunately the South, and it looks like Mana's the North. Mana here coming in here with a large battle in the middle of the map, has a lot of Colossus, Stalkers, and those Ghosts getting some money EMPs off against Mana's forces, but I don't know if ThorZaIN's got enough. His Ghosts are fighting valiantly here. It looks like there are no observers, so the Ghosts will be able to repel this attack for now, and wow, ThorZaIN pushes Mana back once again.
Yeah, he continues to do so throughout the game. This has been so back and forth. What a tremendous TVP on Terminus. This is just crazy. All the Colossus going down there, and the Cloaked Ghosts once again cleaning up at the end of the battle there, picking off, and oh my goodness, so smart. Two Stalkers going in. Oh no, they're in range of the PF though.
It's actually doing AoE damage as well, and it's going to be able to kill both of them, and it's going to, they're both going to go down. Poor control right there, but from Mana, but actually he's probably more worried about the fact that there are Marauders, Marines, and Ghosts hitting this Nexus, so now he's coming in here with his Colossus Colossus and Zealots. The Vikings able to do some pretty good damage. Some snipes going off as well. Will Mana be able to hold this Nexus? And it looks like he will. Great hold by Mana. Both these players just vying for control, vying for economy, and battling it out to the very last of their willpower.
Yeah, ThorZaIN doing a great job loading up those last few units that he was going to lose, losing all of his medevacs again.
Oh, no.
This hurts so bad. He continues to lose his entire medevac squad, and his 5th right now is under heavy fire from these Stalkers, continuing to just take out SCVs. He needs to deal with those. He's using Ghosts right now, but those are not the optimum unit to deal with Stalkers. 2 Ghosts almost getting taken out right there, and he really needs to clear out that pylon on the high ground that Mana continually uses to warp in units near the 5th. And there we go, scanning the high ground. We'll be able to take that out. Also, simultaneously dropping over here at Mana's 6th base, it would be right now. Mana having so many bases right now. This is going to be very difficult for ThorZaIN to work his way back into this.
Actually ends up losing his dropship, so now the forces are stranded, but ThorZaIN may have enough to punch through the Stalkers and Zealots here. It looks like the Mana falling back right here. A couple of snipes going off against the Zealots, weakening them down, so the Marauders will be able to take them out fairly easily, but at the end of the day, ThorZaIN just doesn't have enough to make this drop cost effective, and he loses all of his forces, the blood seeping through the grates down below. Sad way to die right there. But ThorZaIN is giving it all he's got right now. He's still fighting at a very precarious position, has a disadvantage. Even the Zealots, man, are blocking command centers from landing. And this is just brutal.
Yeah, very intelligent move from Mana to leave a Zealot right there to block the eventual 6th. And it looks like he is going to push into the 5th here, going straight after the PF. The PF not being repaired. It's going to go down immediately. Marines and Marauders trying to flank from the side, but they are getting absolutely devastated.
And GG.
Not enough Vikings. GG is called. Oh my goodness, what a game.
Yeah, that was an incredible game of StarCraft 2. There was times when I thought ThorZaIN had it, and then Mana brought it back, and then I thought Mana had it, and then ThorZaIN coming up at the light at the end of the hallway almost had a chance. But at the end of the day, it looks like Mana was able to take the first win in the winner's bracket round 3 of this series. Doesn't mean it's over yet though, Pain User.
Yeah, I mean, those Colossus at the end right there, the tech switch is just so intelligent. Both players trying to trick the other. Mana switching into Colossus, forcing the double reactored Viking production out of ThorZaIN. Then switching into High Templar with Storm, forcing ThorZaIN to produce tons of Ghosts, then switching back into Colossus at the end of the game. ThorZaIN not having any Vikings left, so ultimately Mana just destroying that last confrontation due to the superior Colossus count and no Vikings on the field.
Yeah, and also, all those tech switches you were mentioning, very important, and it kept ThorZaIN off of his game, threw him off balance, and of course, Mana holding the middle of the map for so long at the end of the game definitely helped.
So many gateways too. That's almost unfair. Warp gates are so good in the late game.
You know, in the words of Laylush, man, don't tell it to me. Tell it to Dustin Browder.
I'm not even talking about balance in general. I'm just saying when I see that many Zealots and that many Stalkers warp in immediately after a battle, it's got to be tough to deal with. ThorZaIN almost found a way to do it, but he will go down in the series 0-1, and we will be right back at you guys with Game 2. Hopefully ThorZaIN can bring it back.